welcome back to Fools in Fantasy Football. Welcome back, Triple F Squad. I hope we're having a great morning so far. I am Tyler, the uncool fool, and I'm coming at you here. And my partner in crime, Marty McFly, will be on the next episode. Today, we're going to talk about the triple nickel, which is we're going to give you the top 5 quarterbacks this week, plus 5 guys with plus matchups, 5 quarterbacks with minus matchups. We're going to do that for each category. We're also going to do that for the running backs, the wide receivers, and also the tight ends. So, all right. So we're going to dive right into this. Oh, and also we're going to talk about 5 guys you should trade away, 5 guys you should be looking to trade for. So we're going to go right into it. We're going to start with the quarterbacks. Number 5 coming in for a great matchup this weekend. Who we feel is going to be number 5 is going to be Kyler Murray going up against the San Francisco 49ers. Number 4, we have Tom Brady going up against the Miami Dolphins. Number 3, on tonight's football game Thursday night, we have Matt Stafford going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Number 2, we have Mr. Everything, Lamar Jackson, going up against the Colts. And number 1 top quarterback this weekend will be Mr. Josh Allen going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now 5 quarterbacks with plus matchups this weekend. Number 1 is Aaron Rodgers going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The next one is Kirk Cousins going up against the Detroit Lions. The third one is Ryan Tannehill going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Small side note, Jacksonville Jaguars give up over 300 yards passing per game. The next guy we're going to talk about is Mac Jones going up against the Houston Texans. And the last quarterback with a very nice plus matchup this weekend is Trey Lance against Arizona. The 5 quarterbacks who have minus matchups this weekend, guys who don't have the best matchups. Number 1, we're going to go with Carson Wentz against the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2 is Taylor Heineke against the New Orleans Saints. The next one is Justin Herbert versus the Cleveland Browns. The next quarterback is Patrick Mahomes versus the Buffalo Bills. And the last quarterback with a minus matchup this week is Jalen Hurts versus the Carolina Panthers. So those are the 5 from each category that we like, we don't like, and also our top 5 quarterbacks on our list this week. Now we're going to roll right into the running backs. Number 5 on our list this week is Mr. Nick Chubb going against the LA Chargers. Number 4 is Dalvin Cook versus the Detroit Lions. Number 3 is Alvin Kamara against the Washington football team. Number 2 is the guy who is just absolutely rushing like a beast right now, is Zeke going up against the New York Giants. And number 1 is going to be the almighty Derrick Henry going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 5 running backs who we feel like have a plus matchup this week. Number 1, we're going to talk about Aaron Jones, Green Bay Packers going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The next guy we feel like has got a great matchup is Damian Harris, New England versus the Houston Texans. Another guy who's got a great matchup is Zach Moss going against the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt has another plus matchup going against the LA Chargers. Him and Nick Chubb both play this week. Absolutely. And the last running back who has a plus matchup this week is Darrell Henderson, running back for the Rams going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Now we're going to go over 5 guys who have minus matchups this week. The first guy we're going to talk about is Antonio Gibson going up against, I'm sorry, I put down the wrong team, but whoever he's going up against this week, New Orleans. Definitely put him, definitely he's somebody you want to think about sitting this week. The next guy who's got a tough matchup this week is Saquon Barkley versus the Dallas Cowboys. Another guy we got is Najee Harris going up against the Denver Broncos. Austin Eckler has a terrible matchup this week going against the Cleveland Browns, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire against Baltimore. So those are the 5 running backs that have negative matchups this week. So if you do play them because you have to or you spend a high draft capital on them, don't expect them to get you the average points. Expect them to be a little bit below average this week. My recommendation is if you have somebody else or if you can pick somebody off the waiver wire who is worth it, definitely put most of those guys or all those guys on your bench because they are going to disappoint you this weekend. All right, so that is a triple nickel for the running backs. All right, now we're going to swing right over to the wide receiver group. The top 5 wide receivers we have going into week 5. Number 5, Tyler Lockett, wide receiver from Seattle, going up against the Los Angeles Rams tonight. Look for Lockett to have a nice big game. Number 4 is going to be Justin Jefferson, going up against the Detroit Lions this week. Number 3 is Stephon Diggs, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. And honestly, we might have him too low on this list, to be honest with you. But number 2 we have on the list is Cooper Kupp, going up against Seattle. And the number 1 receiver we have this week who's going to outscore everybody else is Devontae Adams, Green Bay, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. 5 receivers with plus matchups this week. Some guys who we think are going to have really nice weeks. The first guy is going to be DeAndre Hopkins versus the San Francisco 49ers. Next guy is going to be Chris Godwin, going up against the Miami Dolphins. Next is going to be Robert Woods, going up against Seattle. I know Bobby Trees hasn't done a lot this year, but look for him to get on the right path because the Rams are going to have to throw the ball everywhere because Seattle's secondary can't guard a whole lot. The next guy who's got a great matchup this week is Jacoby Myers against the Houston Texans. And the last guy is going to be A.J. Brown versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now we're going to flip over to the negative 5 guys who have minus matchups this week. The first guy we're going to talk about is Odell Beckham Jr. going up against the LA Chargers. The next guy is going to be Keenan Allen going up against the Cleveland Dog Pound defense. The next guy's got a negative matchup this week is Tyreek Hill going up against Buffalo. Look for him and White to go at it all game long. That's going to be a tough matchup for Hill. The next guy we're going to talk about is Scary Terry McLaurin going up against New Orleans Saints. That's going to be a really tough matchup. We know Terry McLaurin had a great week last week, but that's week 4. This is week 5. And the last guy who's going to have a very tough matchup is going to be DK Metcalf going up against the Los Angeles Rams. Look for Jalen Ramsey to be on him all night long. All right, so those are the triple nickels for the wide receivers. And now we are going to go to the triple nickel for the tight ends. The number 5 top scoring tight end we believe it's going to be this week is going to be Dawson Knox from the Buffalo Bills going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 4 is going to be TJ Hawkinson going up against the Minnesota Vikings. The number 3 scoring tight end this week should be Tyler Higbee going up against Seattle. Number 2 should be Mark Andrews going up against the Colts. Look for this to be the Mark Andrews bust-out game. So they've done a lot of Marquise Hollywood Brown. He'll still get his, but look for Mark Andrews to have an uptick this week and look for him to get a scoring touchdown too as well. Another guy who's going to be number 1 this week and all the points is going to be Darren Waller versus the Chicago Bears. So now we're going to go to the tight ends with plus matchups this week. The first guy we're going to talk about is Max Williams, tight end for Arizona, going up against San Francisco. The next guy is Dalton Schultz, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. They're going up against the New York Giants. Jonnu Smith's got a plus matchup going against the Houston Texans. Tyler Clonkin's got a good matchup going against the Detroit Lions. And Noah Fant has a very nice matchup going against the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend. 5 guys who have negative matchups going this week or tough matchups. Number 1 is Austin Hooper going up against the Chargers. Number 2 is Jared Cook going up against the Cleveland Dog Pound defense. Another guy is going to be Dallas Goedert going up against the Carolina defense. That's going to be an extremely tough matchup. The next one we're going to talk about is George Kittle going against Arizona. Arizona is going to do everything they can to eliminate George Kittle out of the game. But one of the things that we feel like is going to happen is Trey Lance is going to get a lot of rushing yards this game against Arizona's defense. So check that out and be very cautious for that one. And the last guy with the negative matchup this week is going to be Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. So just be very, very cautious with that. You want to make sure that if you play Kelce this week, know he's going to get some points, but he's probably not going to do as usual. So keep your expectations not to the max. So, all right, cool. Now we're going to talk guys you should trade for and guys that you should trade away. We're just going to do a list here. I got 5 on each side, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to give you some reasons why for everything. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to tell you guys to trade away. Guys to get rid of, guys who you want to try to trade for the best value, or guys who you're trading just based off of name value too as well. So the first guy we're going to talk about is Najee Harris, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The reason why I say it is because now he's an official name, like he's established a little bit. Their offensive line is absolutely porous. He's going to have to get most of his points this year through the air, so that's something that you don't want to rely on if you have him as a running back. And Big Ben's kind of not – he's getting worse. He's not getting better. So with that one being said, if you can trade him right now for a top 5, top 8 running back, or if you need another receiver, if you're running back loaded, that would be a great guy to trade, just because the fact is the rest of the year it's going to be kind of hit and miss with him. The next guy we're going to talk about, number 4, is Deebo Samuel for the San Francisco 49ers, wide receiver. Right now he's probably about number 2 in all of fantasy football for everything. Last week he had an incredible week. The reason why he's on this list, because you can trade him really high right now if you want to package him up with somebody else and strengthen the position, say like running back, or if you want to get another receiver, or however you want to do it, or maybe if you want to upgrade your quarterback and you're extra on a receiver, this would be a great trade candidate. I'm not saying that he's not going to be able to keep it up all season long, but the Niners do have a nice offense. And also, too, you got to remember that they are a run-first offense. That's how Kyle Shanahan likes his offense. That's how he likes to do it. 1/4 into the season, you know that he's got some nice points. So everybody can see his upside. Everybody can see that he is back to 100%. So if you have an extra wide receiver that you need to get rid of to upgrade a position, he would be a perfect candidate to trade right now and get somebody better for him. Number 3, we're going to stick with the 49ers and George Kittle. This is trading him just based off a name only. George Kittle, like Marty said in the last video, he's not the George Kittle of 3 years ago. Injuries have really hurt him a little bit. He's slowed down a little bit. The Niners also have a little bit of issues at quarterback with Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo. They're not the best passers. So with that being said, if you can trade George Kittle for maybe another tight end and another plus guy, so maybe like go get a Dawson Knox or maybe a Logan Thomas who's on IR, but maybe when he comes back, grab him, maybe something like that, and then also upgrade at another position that you're in need of too, by trading the name of George Kittle and not the play, because he's playing way below what he should be playing right now. The next guy we're going to talk about is Russell Wilson. Again, this is a trade for the name value only. Russell Wilson hasn't been playing that great the first fourth of the season. If you feel like he is going to play better, then keep him. Absolutely. My personal belief is that he is not going to play any better than what he is right now. I feel like the Seahawks are kind of in flux. They don't know really who they are. They have the worst defense in all of the NFL. So that's not going to help Russell Wilson whatsoever in that aspect. They got 2 receivers really that we all know. A couple other guys who can catch the ball. They have a very hit and miss running offense too as well, with Chris Carson, his injury bug, and they have a couple other guys back there too as well. So, but Russell Wilson, I would trade him just based on the name value. Maybe you can get another quarterback, maybe go after the Matt Stafford, or maybe go get Jalen Hurts, who is having a great year in Philly, and he is not going to stop putting up lots of numbers too as well. And the number 1 guy I would trade away right now would be Marquise Hollywood Brown. And the reason why I say it is not because he isn't doing great, because he's doing awesome. He's a top 10 wide receiver so far this year. He's definitely ahead of his curve for what he's had the last couple of years. And the reason why I trade him is, again, because the Ravens are a run-first team. They've had to pass a lot in the very beginning of it, just because the fact is that all the running backs have been injured. Yes, I get that. But also because they've played behind a lot more than they've played ahead. So once they start playing ahead, they'll start running the ball more. Lamar Jackson is definitely developing as a passer. The Ravens are averaging 255 yards passing per game, which is great. But again, once they get in the division, once they play the Cleveland Dog Pound twice, once they play the Cincinnati Bengals twice, once they play the Pittsburgh Steelers twice, they're going to want to grind the games to a halt, and they're going to grind it down. They're going to want to run the ball a lot more than they are going to pass it. So right now, Marquise Hollywood Brown would be a great candidate to trade for the ROS. Okay, so now some guys to trade for. The first guy I would look to trade for is Javonte Williams, running back for the Denver Broncos. The rookie's getting more carries. He has a big part of the offense. The Broncos also are kind of in a flux too as well, because they were counting on Teddy Bridgewater. Obviously, he's got the concussion. There's not much you can really do about that. That is what it is. But having him and having Melvin Gordon II, the two-headed horse back there in the backfield, both those guys can carry the ball. And usually as the season goes on, the second half, the rookies get more carries, more snaps, because they're fresher, they're ready to go. So look for him to have a big second half. Look for a guy. This would be a great guy to get right now. He's just got all the talent in the world, and he will carry the Broncos with their passing and flux, and also to having a couple of receivers right now that aren't playing. So he's a good guy to go grab. Number 4 is going to be Kyle Pitts, tight end for the Atlanta Falcons. This dude had all the hype in the world coming into this season. He has not produced just yet. He is tied in, I believe, 14 or 13. But right now, the Atlanta offense has been kind of weird all year long. Right now, they're relying on Cordell Patterson. Will that happen the rest of the year? Probably not. But Kyle Pitts would be a great low buy candidate right now to get him if you like him or not. Atlanta's getting their offense together. Remember, it's a new system, new coach. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get everything gelled and together. Calvin Ridley said a couple weeks ago that they are right there to get everything going, and I believe him because he has been around the NFL. He's been a leader on that team. He's a very good football player. So if he says something like that, you got to take that a little bit to heart because he's in the inside, so he knows exactly what's going on. So Kyle Pitts, number 4, if you can get him for a nice buy low candidate, however you want to trade him, however you want to go get him, definitely do it. Get him while you can before his value starts skyrocketing. Also do it before he gets his first NFL touchdown, because once, sometimes it's like a ketchup bottle. Once you get that one, then all the rest start pouring in. So just try to get him right now. Next guy we're going to talk about is Dalvin Cook. This guy obviously is going to be a little bit on the pricier side, but he is a little bit on the low side right now. He missed week 3, week 4. He had a very abysmal week against the Cleveland Browns. So right now would be a great time to get him if you feel like you can get him for the right price. Go ahead and trade him, however you want to do it. He will obviously, he's a top 2 running back. He's going to be right behind, the all-world, all-pro running back there in Tennessee. So just if you can get your chips in right, if you can go get him right now. Do whatever you got to do. Don't waste any time. Another guy who you want to trade for is Jalen Hurts. On the flip side, I talked about Russell Wilson, maybe trading for Jalen Hurts. He's a great competitor. Right now he's one of the top guys in fantasy football. It's not going to stop. If you watch the video at the very beginning, we were very high on Jalen Hurts this year. Mobile quarterback, he can run, he can pass. Obviously, the new offense in Philly again. It's kind of weird because when anybody has a new offensive system, you just never know how they're going to react the first couple of weeks here. But we can see that he's doing really great in the offensive system, and he is somebody that you want to grab, you want to trade, you want to get right away. And the number 1 guy to trade for this week, this is going to come as a surprise, but the reason why I say it is because the Chicago Bears finally got smart. Matt, whatever his name is, Nagy, finally decided to make Justin Fields their QB1, which is the best move he could possibly make. So what I feel like that's going to happen, value is going to increase like crazy for Allen Robinson II. So look for those 2 guys to get a lot of chemistry. Look for them to bond. Look for Justin Fields to look for Allen Robinson. And also, too, in this career, Allen Robinson has been a top 10 wide receiver for the last 3 or 4 years in fantasy football with having names who aren't even that good. Obviously, this is going to be the best quarterback he's ever had in Justin Fields. Justin Fields can extend the play. He can also run a little bit. So look for Allen Robinson to have an uptick. So if you have somebody that you're looking for a low buy candidate, Allen Robinson would be the guy that I would get right now. He would be the guy that I look for. And also, too, looking forward into it, Allen Robinson, if you're looking at the playoffs, has very nice playoff matchups all the way through. So he is somebody that's not only going to help you now, but he's going to help you for your playoff run too as well. And other than his ACL injury that 1 year, Allen Robinson's been virtually healthy the rest of his career. So he's somebody that you want to look at, somebody you want to pick up, somebody you want to trade for. And also he's a low buy candidate. So if you can get him for somebody low, maybe like an Antonio Brown type of person, maybe a Chris Godwin possibly. Is Chris Godwin, or something like that. I don't know if I'd pay that high for him, but just a couple of examples there for you. Just some guys like that. Maybe Robert Woods, if you want to do a Robert Woods for Allen Robinson swap, that would be probably a pretty good swap too as well. Just something along those lines. Or if you, however you want to do it, or if you can get really lucky, if you can get somebody even lower than that and trade them, that would be cool too. So anyways, those are the guys that you want to trade for. Those are the guys you want to trade away. So that was everything for the episode. You got the triple nickel for all four positions: the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Some guys to trade for, some guys to trade away. So hopefully this information helps you all to set your lineups to make the best possible decisions for week 5. We are going to come out with another video for tomorrow. We are definitely going to keep up on this. So tomorrow's show, we are going to talk about the top offenses, the top defenses, and we're going to talk about all that here for you. And we're also going to give you some leaders in rushing, passing, and also receiving. So that way you're updated to the NFL leaders this year. And also, too, you're going to know who has the best offenses. So some guys who you want to play, and also some guys who have the guys who have the worst defenses. So that way you know who your best matchups are too as well. So that way I'll answer some questions that way too as well. All right. Everybody, I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Thank you so much for checking us out. We are Two Fools in Fantasy Football. Please tell everybody about this. Please like us on Facebook. Share our club on Facebook. It's Two Fools in Fantasy Football. It is a public club. Also, too, please share all the videos on Facebook, on your own Facebook. Please spread the word about us. We really appreciate that. And also, if you know anybody who needs football help, anybody who is looking for some guidance, please guide them over here. Let them know, let them subscribe to our show so they get all this direct, and they can ask us any question anytime on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for checking us out. I am Tyler, the uncool fool, and y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.